So what I was talking is, I gave you a technical explanation about adding fibers to the clay body. And in fact, I think the question of Carlos was, can you also add some other things? And I said, just wait with the chemical stuff. But after that, I realized I used other clay bodies. For example, you can add more chamot to the clay body. Or what you can do is also, you can put molokite to the body, clay body. Molokite is a kind of chamot, but it's from, wait, I have to sneeze. Sorry. Molokite is more white. If you add this to the clay to enforce your clay body, your clay will also be more white. Okay? So if you have a clay and it's too pinky, it's too grayish, you can add molokite in a certain percentage to make it white, but also to enforce it. Only if you add a lot, it will not enforce, it will make it easier to work with, but at the end it's not so strong. And I have here my recipe, and I put about 26, around 20%, 25% of molokite to the clay body. So it turned very white, but it turned also a little more fragile. I think if you add up to 10%, it's still strong, but it's a way to make your clay more white, for example. But I also added a little bit of paper flax, so paper fiber, and I want to talk about that more. So I said, if you use the pepper clay, like in Arco, there is a lot of paper and there's not so much clay. Does someone know how much it's in percentage? How much you add? Yeah, Elsa. 10%. It's quite a lot. And that's, so if you use a lot, like you use a lot of this molokite, you use a lot of this paper, you really have a paper clay, no? Because there's 10% of paper. If you want to use paper fiber, like you use flax fiber into a clay body to make it a little bit stronger, it's better, in fact, it's better to add up to only 0.5 or 0.7%. So it gives it gives more force to your clay body, but it's not really there. With the paper clay you're using, the paper is there. If you use it, you see it makes the texture different of your clay body. But if you add paper fiber, so paper also just, it's the same, but you add it up to 0.5%. It's not, you can't see it almost. So your clay body will be the same, but it gives more strength to your clay body. So this is, and I think this is interesting because we can, what we do with clay, we can also do with the porcelain. And I think this was a question also from Carlos, which I didn't hear very well. So I go back to Carlos. I unmute Carlos.
Yes.
I think your question also last time was if you can add the fibers also to the porcelain.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I want to talk about that for now because it was only later that I realized that you were also talking about porcelain, and I just took my notes and all, so I want to talk about that part. So
Okay, thank you.
Huh?
Thank you. Sorry. I'm gonna.
Okay, so the thing is, if you have a porcelain body, and that's also interesting for Sophia, if you go to more bigger stuff in porcelain, you can also add paper fiber to your porcelain. And I use like, so you make, just need to see, but I will send it later, how you mix it when the fiber will get into it. Yeah, Sophia.
But so we're talking liquid porcelain, or we're talking paste, or both?
Both. Both.
And so this fiber, the paper fiber, to mix it in the paste, has to be in what form? Is it
The same as you use with the paper clay. You use it. I know. I first stir it, and then I
like
add
the,
water.
like the toilet paper? That's what you mean?
Yeah, you can use toilet paper, but I use like papers from journals, newspaper.
Okay, and then you just put it in water and do it as fine as you can. Okay, okay.
Yeah, no, you first stir it as fine as you can, and then you add it to water. So it's a different way of.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, so let's start from the beginning. So first I talked about clay bodies. Now I want to jump to porcelain, and so if you have porcelain and you want to make it stronger, even if it's liquid porcelain, you can add paper. So you first stir it into fine pieces, you add it to the water, and then you mix your the the porcelain powder. You add the porcelain powder and you mix it. Okay, so the paper will also get mixed with the liquids. The thing is, it enforces the liquid porcelain, but without changing too much its character, because it will stay the same. You can't see it almost, and that's the difference with paper clay. Because with paper clay, you see the amount of paper added to the paper clay. No, it gives a certain texture. But if you just add up to 0.5% of paper fiber to a liquid porcelain, you can't see it. And that's the difference. One is paper clay, the other is a way to make your liquid porcelain more stronger. Okay. Then if you work with plastic porcelain, which sometimes it goes very well for small pieces, but sometimes if you want to make bigger stuff, you have to add a product, and that's bentone. Bentone is bentone or bentonite. It's the same, only bentonite is not so white and bentone is white. You can use both of it to add to your porcelain, but with bentonite, you're losing a little bit of the whiteness of your porcelain. Okay, and when with bentone, which is in fact it costs more. It's more expensive. You keep the whiteness of your porcelain. I never used it in liquid porcelain, but you can add it to plastic porcelain. If you have a package, you can add the bentonite or the bentonite through it. Okay. Yeah, Mercedes. Wait, because you are still on. You have to unmute your microphone.
Yep. And now you hear me.
Yeah, now I hear you.
So that bentone or bentonite is a powder that you add.
Yeah, it is a powder, but you will see it's not such a fine powder. It has some, you will see it because it looks a little bit like it's not like chamot, but you will have little dots in your porcelain if you add.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
also in the result you have those dots or not?
A little bit, but not so remarkable.
Okay. And I do have
up to 1%. So up to 1%. 1% is the most you can put in there. And I think I tried 0.5% and 1%. Because I had some problems with the form, which always wanted to crack or wanted to deform. And I put it 1%, but you can slightly see it, but not that much that you think, wow, so I will not use it. It's in use it. The bentonite I won't, I thought it changed a little bit too much, the whiteness of the porcelain body, but it's still a very good way to practice. We have bentonite, I think, in Arco. So if you make a list for stuff you want to try or you want to take, I think this Thursday you can go to the school to search for some products. If you want to experience porcelain clay body with this bentonite, you can ask, you put it on your list and so you have it. And aside of this bentonite, you can still use the fibers. Okay, I will, yeah, Sophia. Yeah.
So you talked about molokite, you talked about the paper or flax fiber and the bentonite. So what are the difference between them? Why use one? When do you use one? When do you use another? What are like the differences between them?
Molokite I use as a chamot into clay bodies, but if I have chamot, I would use chamot because it doesn't change the color of the clay body. I use molokite, which is more expensive than chamot if I also want to change the color of the clay body. It's an opportunity to make the clay more white. Okay, then bentone or bentonite, it's finer than molokite, so I don't use molokite into a porcelain body. Yeah, bentonite is changing a little bit the color of the porcelain. It turns the porcelain more yellowish, or even a bit. It depends on the temp. I'm thinking, yeah, it was more yellowish. And the bentone, which is the same as a bentonite, but pure form of bentonite, in fact. It stays, with the bentone, it stays whiter. But it has also the same quality or character of making the porcelain stronger and easier to work with. Yeah.
I still had another question about the percentage of fiber, of paper fiber.
Okay, but just one more minute, because I wasn't at the end of the, and then The thing is which fiber you use, no? For a liquid porcelain, I suggest paper, but in a low percentage. For a clay body, I think it's better or more stronger to use fiber.
And what is the difference between paper and fiber?
Well, paper also has fibers. It's a paper, the linen, now the flax, you can also have cotton fiber or whatever. They are all cellulose fibers. And that's important. But I only have the experience of using flax and paper. I never worked with cotton fiber. Okay, but if you can't find it, you can also go to glass fiber, but that's really far more difficult to work with because the fibers are not, you can't cut the fibers with a normal knife. If you use glass fiber into your clay body, which is possible if you really make a really big thing, but then you have to use a cutter knife to cut your slabs, and that makes it far more difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The thing is,
then percentage, you talked about like 0.5%. So that's 1 promille. That's 5 promille on weight. But is the weight the dry, like the powder of porcelain, and the dry paper, or is it already in liquids?
you first tear the paper in pieces. You add this to the water. Then you add the powder of the porcelain and you mix it thoroughly. Okay, so it's another way of working than with paper clay. Is that clear? Yeah, I think.
I have the paper fiber of the paper teared into pieces. I don't put that in hot water.
It's just another way of working than the paper clay. So forget about the paper clay.
Yeah.
Because the paper clay, the paper goes first into the water for a while.
And that's now not the...
No, but we're not talking about 10%. It's 0.5%. It's little. Like I have my stuff here. I made like 36 kilos of porcelain. Wait, I'm gonna see. It's another paper. Wait, just 1 minute. That's performance. Yeah, it's here. So I had 36 kilos almost of porcelain and
powder.
Yeah, and I'm looking for the paper, and I just added, I think, like 2. I can't find it back here in my. It's here. Sorry. Water. No, that's also not. I have so many recipes. But okay, I'll say here I have like 36 kilos of clay, and there was only 250 grams of paper, just to...
Dry paper.
Dry paper. The dry paper you add to the water, and then you add the powder. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get it? Okay. Now you can unmute. Maybe you can unmute your...
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. But what I wanted to say more, so this is clear, I think. If not, raise your hand. Okay. The thing is, it's not only about if you add fiber and all that stuff, it's not only about working better, it has also, so, and it's stronger afterwards, but it's also, it has a dry resistance against cracks. So you will have less cracks. And in that sense, maybe Sophia, we should try something when all these things crack and there are bigger pieces. I'm not sure, we have to think about the way we can find a way to have less cracks. And it also increases the dry strength. So if it dries, it's stronger than, because normally it's very fragile. Yeah. Okay. That's what I wanted to talk first about. But we also said we would inspire each other. I don't know if someone has to show something which she was thinking about, and I've got, we still have, we only have 10 minutes left. And then maybe what we can do is schedule a new one, like now, for, so we can talk about the things you were drawing, or I don't know. Okay. Does anyone wants to show something or want to talk about? Like Bebel, I didn't. We didn't speak yet last time. Do you have something you wanna show or?
I've not been doing nothing with ceramics those past days, but
To draw?
I started to drawing because I was thinking about how to put the things with rivers, and I had this that wall in my bedroom, and I was seeing that there's rivers and bodies, and there's something of a body in a river, like in the movement and how they split, and I started to see a shell sketches, and I was trying to
Okay, nice.
put things like this, and then I got out of his like stopped to parei de imitar, de copiar, e comecei a fazer os
Gente e tal também.
yeah.
Sim.
E bom, é isso. E por enquanto é só, assim, enfim, tô mais pensando isso, mas acho que eu vou começar a pegar em barro daqui a pouco e ver se eu consigo
Sim,
colocar esses corpos.
pequenos modelos e tal, para ver como vais transmitir traduzir isso, estes reboços. Pode ser muito importante fazer aquilo, sim.
E aí eu tenho lido muito e agora o meu irmão me mandou uma outra coisa sobre... Eu já tenho alguma pesquisa de pessoas que trabalham, que fazem cabeças, e aí meu irmão me mandou uma outra coisa disso, e aí acho que eu ainda estou pensando na coisa das cabeças, sim. Mas estou devagar, assim.
Claro, claro. É. Boa. E esta coisa do barro e enforcamento do barro, acho que desde quando vais trabalhar em peças maiores, também é uma coisa que tu podes utilizar ou não.
Sim, sim. No ano passado eu estava trabalhando com barro vermelho e ele não tem nada de chamote. E eu consegui fazer aquela cabeça, mas depois eu fui fazer uma perna que eu queria fazer. E a gente colocou chamote, mas mesmo com chamote ele rachou. Então acho que é uma coisa legal para pensar, porque eu gosto do barro vermelho.
Calhar então fibras, Estamos a tentar encontrar um fornecedor desta fibra, porque há
Sim.
mais pessoas que vão utilizar.
Uhum. Mas é isso, me interessa continuar com barro vermelho, assim, eu não gosto mesmo do barro branco.
Se calhar preciso falar com a Luciana sobre isso, ou a Mariana, para que vamos encontrar isso. Acho que tá bom. Muito bem,
Sim.
obrigada.
Obrigada.
Sim. A Sofia, tu tinhas uma. Acho que mais pessoas. Vamos ver. Sofia, nós vamos falar depois sobre esta peça que rasgou.
Sim, mas se calhar tem que ir com o telefone e fazer a imagem lá, porque a peça não está aqui, mas se calhar podemos nós depois, logo depois desta reunião, podíamos fazer entre as duas, talvez por WhatsApp.
Pode ser? Sim.
Está bem, está bem.
Eu tenho marcado uma hoje de fazer aulas, então se alguém queria falar mesmo individualmente, pode ser e marcamos, sim. Quem tem tu, Mercedes, tens uma coisa na mão? You have something in your hand you wanted to show? We don't hear you.
You hear me?
Yes, now we hear you.
I have a box of all the little things that I tried several years ago when I was living in Spain with Anima Rose, and I was wondering, you see this blue color, and this was the porcelain was colored after the bisque, I think. And it's a liquid that you use, which is highly toxic. So you use the luvas, and it penetrates really into the porcelain, into the bisque,
Yeah.
and then it keeps me busy that I want to know what it was and how I can. Well,
Yeah.
if you know.
I don't know, because I think it's a very, it's from who? Anima Rose?
Anima Rose from Belgium also. She's
I know her, but maybe you just, I don't know, ask her. If she wants to share, because some artists don't want to share their experiments. Okay?
yeah.
I don't know. But what I wanted to suggest anyway is in another class, and I will send first, like we did with the fiber clay, I first sent a technical information to everyone, and then we can talk here on the platform about that. Because if you maybe first start with pasta coloridas, which are colored porcelain, it's colored liquid porcelain. And you can do a lot with that also. So just first go with that step. And it's a repetition for most of you, but it's always good to repeat things, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, it's I've never worked with colored porcelain. I just started now with Joanna, but
yeah, but maybe you can try to you keep on going with her teachings as well, so you will have time to figure it out. Okay, I will unmute you. No, you have to do it yourself. I can't. I did it. It's okay. Sophia.
So just regarding tomorrow, since we're all together, so Mariana said we could go to Arco to get materials.
Yeah.
So is that any time of the day? Does anybody know?
She sent a message. I think she sent a mail to everyone. Did you get a mail, Sophia?
Yeah, so I guess we have to say what time we will go, no?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You send a list of materials you need, and I will prepare, and it will be there. Elsa is leaving. See you. I will send this recording, okay, to everyone. Thank you. No, so you make a list. You send a list, and then I think it's Luciana who prepares, and you pay after. It will be registered what you take, and I think also the stuff you still have in the pavilion, which so it's your stuff and you didn't take it. I think you can take it there. Okay. Yeah, Melissa, you're far away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not able, but I got some black clay and I got some white clay, and I've been trying to mix them in different